Hey, folks, welcome to Disability Landscape. Um, your host, Mark Knutson, and my co-host today is Tricia Carlberg. Welcome, Trish. How are things going with you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mark.
You've been keeping busy with your blog and your theater endeavors.
Yeah, live and kicking.
Oh, there you go. Well, with that, why don't you? That's a good segue for our next interview. Why don't you take it away?
Yeah, sure. So we have two representatives here today from Alive and Kickin, which is a nonprofit organization that features a talented ensemble of rockin' senior performers. And these are usually age 60 and over, and they entertain for multiple audiences through contemporary music and personal stories. And so I'll let both Jason and Michael go ahead and tell us a little bit about their group here.
And they
Great.
can introduce themselves who they are.
Great. Hi, I am Michael Matthew Ferrell. I am the founder, executive, and artistic director of Alive and Kickin.
And I'm Jason Hanson. I'm the associate director and the musical director of the group.
So I can give you a little, it was exactly 10 years ago, March 2010, that I befriended a married senior couple, and I was mentoring their granddaughter. And I, after chatting with them more, found out that they were ex-performers. One of them was an opera singer and the other was an actor. And so they had this incredible career in theater and the arts, and got to a certain age where, like what happens with many folks, you kind of get aged out. And all of a sudden, you know, these companies they worked for felt like they were too old, felt like their talents weren't keeping up with, you know, what was going on in society. So they basically were forced out of this profession. And I was really taken by that. And I said, well, you know, maybe there's something we can do. And I said, hey, do you have any other friends in the same situation? And within like a month, we had an audition. I took everybody, it didn't even matter. But at that moment, Alive and Kickin was formed. And we started performing. We really started as a performing company. We would go and all of our stuff was based in music, and then adding some personal stories with this music, really trying to give seniors a voice with arts as the platform. So we started that way, and then as we grew and added more programs, we really saw the need for it in many different communities. One, especially those with dementia, Alzheimer's, folks with various disabilities, that you know everybody deserved to have some sort of arts programming in their life, and a way for them to be involved. So we've grown the company. We have several different programs that we do and we offer. And actually, I'll let Jason talk about those because he's the music man. But it has grown to serve typically a little over 7,000 seniors annually.
That's really exciting, Michael. And Michael, what is it like to direct performers who are at their later stages of life?
I laugh because there are days, it is always joyful, but it does come with some challenges, and because of so much, I'll let Jason kind of address some of this, because so much of what we do is in music. So maybe Jason, you want to chat about that a little
That
bit?
sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we have, like Michael said, we have several programs. The one that probably most people know us from is our performing company, which, you know, as Michael alluded to, was a small group when he started it 11 years ago. And now we've got close to 40 members in our performing company. And we'll do everything from perform for what we call a community gig. It's you know, everything from a senior facility to a volunteer group that wants to present a performance. And then we always put on a big annual show, and it is the full theatrics of what, you know, one would be used to going to a big show downtown or something like that. You know, we do fully produced lights, sound, all that stuff. I get a band, and yeah. I mean, we try not to reduce the level at all, just because we're working with the senior population that might not be a group of professionals. We still expect the same amount of musicality. We rehearse every Monday for several hours, and we expect that the cast memorizes their music and performs with that same level that one would expect paying for a good price ticket. And the results over the last 10, 11 years have allowed us to expand, because the cast has grown so much and has musically become, I would say, at that level to warrant us being able to go on tours and do things like that. But then we also do some programming that people maybe don't know as much, because they don't maybe see it, they don't buy a ticket to some show. We have a program called Sing Out, which is where we interact with a lot of these folks with Alzheimer's and schizophrenia, a lot of cognitive mental issues and things. And that's what it sounds like. It's just a big, a monthly hour and a half time for people just to come, and everyone's invited. And we sing rock and roll songs. We you know, we invited a lot. It was started out as really a way to invite our close partners at the Cormac Corby Center, where we rehearse.
Okay.
But we really open it up to anybody who wants to come. And it's woken a lot of people up. It's really amazing to see people who don't otherwise interact the way that we do, suddenly singing and dancing. And so we're very fortunate to have a lot of different things we get to do with those seniors.
Do you either one of you guys can answer it?
Mm-hmm.
That the music that you do perform, like you say, the rock and roll, is it more the rock and roll of their times than I would assume then?
It's everything. That's one of the things we pride ourselves in, is that it's everything from Lady Gaga.
I'm just gonna say
Yes.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, it's Lady Gaga, but it's also the Beatles, it's Led Zeppelin, it's you know, Queen. We love performing Queen. And really, you think about it, and because they're of a certain age, people expect, well, they're not supposed to sing that kind of music. They're supposed to sing sentimental.
That's where I was kind of going. Yep.
Right. But a lot of the music we do, they're familiar with from when they grew up, and then there's a bunch of it that they've never heard before. And so we have to work a lot harder to get them to know the songs. But why can't a bunch of seniors sing Lady Gaga? You know?
Oh yeah, totally.
Right. I will just add to that you know, we will often take a song, and one song that we're working on right now is Alan Jackson's "The Older I Get," and it's a famous country song. Alan Jackson, when he wrote it and performed it, maybe he was in his 30s, right? So we've given this song to 2 seniors in our organization. One 70 something, and the other one is our oldest member at 89 years old. And the impact of hearing that song with that person, that knowledge, that life experience is completely different than seeing Alan Jackson sing it. I mean, he's 30 years old. What does he know about getting old? Right. When you're 89, you've got some meat behind that thing, some message. So I think that's another piece of what we do and why it resonates so well with folks. Taking a contemporary song, putting our age and experience with it, and it often just sounds and means something different.
And this question too, Michael, this might not have ever happened, but have you ever had like a songwriter or an artist who has written the song come and join you for a performance or see it or anything like that?
No, and I wish we would. I wish, listen, if you can, we love Queen. I mean, that is every year we do at least one Queen song. If I could get them to come and check us out, I would love it.
So do
Yeah,
you
if
do
anyone knows Elton John or can reach out to any of these folks, just send us.
That's my two favorites are Elton John
Mhm.
and Phil Collins. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, you could get one of those. I would.
do they any of the group members do impersonations or anything like that?
No, I mean, we will take these songs and Jason arranges them for our group. We typically don't try to represent any sort of character.
Okay.
We just, the beauty is in that, we are highlighting these people for their genuine authenticity. Yeah, so we don't we don't use a lot of gimmicks and a lot of we're pretty straightforward and pretty honest about our interpretations of these pieces.
And you talked to Michael about an annual show and it maybe being downtown, one of your bigger shows. Where would have that been performed at?
So we typically have, the last few years we've used Bloomington Center for the Arts,
Okay.
which is right there in Bloomington. It's a beautiful the Schneider Theater. But we've gone up north to the renovated North Shore Theater in Duluth. We actually are we have a performance this late summer in St. Cloud at the Paramount Theater. And so our bags are packed. We're ready to go.
I might just need to go out to St. Cloud then.
Jason, I want to ask you a question in that.
Mhm.
Is that when how did you get connected with the group? Because nothing against you, Michael, but Jason, you just look a little younger, so
Oh,
I should have asked. I should have tried to put Michael on mute or something while I asked this. I'm just putting it out there, okay? But yeah, Jason, I'm kind of curious because
Yeah.
Michael's the founder, so that's why he got involved. How did you get connected with the organization?
Yeah, I mean, Michael and I knew each other because we do a lot of theater work in the cities together, and he had been looking for musical director, someone to collaborate with, and it was only about a year into the founding of the organization, and asked me if I'd be. I think I actually came in to. It wasn't really an audition, but it was like, hey, we need somebody on Monday. Can you show up and just help us that day? And I was available, so I came in, and we quickly realized that we were good at doing this together. And so I think for about 10 years now, I've been with the group, and quickly fell in love with it because of the kind of work it is and the kind of people that we work with.
Right.
As Michael said, we're not trying to make them into characters or to they're so genuine, and actually because they in a lot of cases don't have a professional background, artistic experience. They can't help but just be who they are, and I far prefer that than someone trying to try too hard to be something else.
So I would assume you probably had not worked with seniors before then.
Other than just performing in a senior facility setting and kind of as entertainment, no, I hadn't really worked alongside of them. And it's a big learning curve, and we're always still learning how to best work with different groups.
Right.
And Jason, I think Michael mentioned that there's like 7,000 people involved. How can someone go about getting involved in that? Or even Michael can answer that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think the first thing that we always appreciate is just look us up, watch some of our videos online, come to see a show. That's the biggest thing we want. We have an incredible fan base that comes to all of our shows every year and interacts with us on social media, and you kind of get to know, you become part of the family, you get to know each of the cast members, and there's a great connection there. And Michael, there's other ways that we sometimes will look for volunteers and things. Maybe Michael, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so like Jason said, I'm gonna plug it. It's Alive Kickin, mn.org is our website. We have volunteer opportunities. And I think currently we got 25 or so volunteers that just come, and these are seniors or folks that want to stay engaged, and it's a way for them to participate without having to get on stage. Obviously becoming a donor is a great way to participate for us, and then we hold annual auditions every year. And because we have so many different programs, we're able to kind of tailor one's participation. We have a core group that's like there every week, 4 hours of rehearsal. They do all the performances. We have another group that is a little more relaxed, I guess is we still expect certain things of them, but they're there's a little more flexibility in how they participate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways. Once we are back up and running, to be able to come to our Sing Out program is another great way. And again, all of this stuff is going to be on our website, and how to connect with us.
Okay, Michael, if you're still talking to me, I'm not sure, I got a question.
Yeah.
Since I've got the camera on you, you have to talk with me.
Okay.
We're kind of curious on, with the variety, with all the different music that you use, do you run into any like copyright permissions? How does that have to be handled? How is that handled, I should say?
Yes, it's handled by someone way smarter than me. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's a great question. It really varies depending on what you're using the material for.
Yeah.
And so, when we would perform at Bloomington Center for the Arts, that theater and that complex have licenses from like ASCAP for one. And so whatever is being performed on that stage is covered under that agreement. If we just did a huge collaboration with Stages Theater, which was a youth organization, and we did We Are the World and
Heal the World.
Heal the World.
Yeah.
So we had to reach out to both of the estates from those songs and get the rights to perform it and then release it in a video.
Nice. Have you ever had any unexpected things happen on stage?
What?
That's a whole nother interview. That's a whole nother show right there.
Yeah. So we, our oldest member, before she passed away last year, her name was Catherine Antle. And Catherine was 94 when she passed away. She was with us until like 3 weeks before she actually died.
Oh,
Mhm.
And Catherine was, talk about somebody, we would talk about, okay, Catherine, when you go out there, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to talk about. And Jason can attest to this. It never, not once did she go out there and follow the rules,
No.
but yet she had the audience. It was 100% spontaneous. She would time after time have received standing ovations for her just flying off the cuff, and I've never seen anything like it. And we just got used to, like, okay, Catherine, here's your time. Here's some guidelines. She was brilliant.
It would stop the show mid-tracks. So we'd have to plan when she would arrive in the middle of the show to accommodate that.
Yes.
You know, we could do a whole scene change if we wanted to while she was going on. But
Yeah.
we have it's kind of the normal things. I mean, there was one of our cast members during a show that stubbed her toe and like her toenail ripped off, and so it was like bleeding all. I mean, just those types of things. We've got a nurse on staff though, actually, that comes with us to all of our gigs and things, and we joke around that the nurse is there for us more than she is for our cast, because we're gonna need the assistance at some point. But no, it's just it's great to have her on hand in case something like that happens. And yeah.
I guess I would say that's one of the, when originally you asked about challenges, and because Jason and I both worked in professional, or still do, in professional theater, you show up, you have a script, you have your score, you have a director that says you're going to walk from here to here, and by the time you open, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And there is not one performance that happens that goes as is. And that is the beauty of Alive and Kickin'. I mean, there are imperfections. There are times when, somebody might forget a word or two, and we celebrate those moments. But it is, I mean, talk about being flexible and being in the moment, which I think is what a great lesson for people to learn as a youngster, Jason. Right? Just to be
you said it, not me.
just to be in the moment and let it just be exactly what it is.
Yeah, we love that because we all do improv too, and that's kind of how we met too. So we can appreciate that, in the moment and that performance aspect too. So
Yeah.
Mark, did you have something?
Yeah, I was couple questions before we go. One of them being, how did you come up with the name Alive and Kicking?
You know what? That's a really good question, and I don't actually remember. I think there was that song, right? The famous song.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who it was by now, but I just felt like, that just embodied who I wanted this group to be. I wanted them to be alive, with a lot of life, with a lot of spirit, with a lot of kick still left in them. And it just stuck.
Yeah, because it kind of sounds, it's kind of humorous, just because Alive and Kicking, and with the age group, you have, because when we started the channel, you always kind of come up with an elevator line, like a tagline. And I was talking to Charlie, the other guy that helps on this. I told him, I said, we should just make our tagline. We'll get you sooner or later, because eventually everyone ends up. That came to my mind when I asked you about the Alive and Thick. I'm like, oh, that's right. That's like that tagline. And one last question, because we'll have to get going here somewhat, but there was on your website something about an A&K championship, Alive and Kickin' championship.
Yeah. So Alive and Kickin' champions are those folks that have agreed to a ongoing support for Alive and Kickin. And so it's a reoccurring donation that they give us every month. And you know, it's folks like that. A lot of people right now are like, how are you even standing, much less kicking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we just went through the worst year ever with a demographic of the most affected population. And it was our supporters and our donors and certain foundations that said, you know what, we're not going to let this go away because it's important work. And it's serving a community that a senior community that's not being served currently. So that's what the Alive and Kickin' Champions, and we actually recorded We Are the Champions as a video.
Okay.
Jason put it all together. And that was a special thank you to those folks that decided to do a reoccurring donation for us.
Well, great. This has been excellent, very enjoyable, and definitely interesting. Just kind of see some of the parallels between your organization and our group and that. But I want to say thank you to Michael Ferrell and Jason Hanson of Alive and Kickin. And I want to say thank you to Tricia Karlberg, who joined me here. And this is Mark Knutson. And thank you for watching Disability Land.
All right, here we go. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you.
And you're the one for me.